So, hi everyone, we are from Group 1 and we are going to present the chapter 9, which is begin your presentation strategically. Yeah, so let's go. The core principles is like the beginning. Always begin your presentation with an end in mind. What does that mean? So, it means that you always have goals in mind that that will lead the flow of the conversation, like what you need to do and what you want to do at the end of the conversations. So the second one is seek first to understand, then to be understood. You have to make sure that you understand your customers, the buyers' needs and their problems before they come to the understanding of your standing point. So always make sure that you understand their needs. So knowing that you can solve problem provides. So as a salesperson, we are always there to sell solutions or to sell solutions. So we always have to be great caring, confidence, excitement in your mind, body, and speech. So your body gesture, your speech have to be great, and do not give in to temptation to exaggerate. So over exaggerating something will scare your customer, your prospect off. Like they will not trust you enough they will not entrust you with their problems. So in the long run, we will see trust, integrity, and characters. So next, for salesperson wise approach. From the time that salesperson first see the buyer, from the beginning of the discussion of the products, that's what approach starts. So take the approach seriously, because approach is extremely important. Like many consider approach as the most important step in helping someone. Like they will know that whether you are sincere or not. And what's the worst part? If it's unsuccessful approach, you may not even have the opportunity to present your stuff at all. So if you can't tell your story, then no one will buy your stuff. So no one will understand what's going on in your end. So the approach begins the sales presentation that could last for seconds or minutes, that involves meetings, greeting, rapport building. So always make sure that you get all those done nicely. So these are the steps of the approach leads to the sales presentation at the end, from start to end. Yeah, so let's summarize that. So as a salesperson, what we need to do when we first approach a customer or buyers, we have to meet them and we greet them. Then rapport builds goes through the approach, discuss about the products, discuss about the marketing plans, discuss about the business propositions, then close. Last but not least, close. Always ask for the order, because as a salesperson, we are here to sell. We are here to sell something. We are here to make the deal done, make the deal. Yeah. So the approach, opening the sales presentations. A buyer's reaction to the salesperson in early minutes of the presentation is critical to a successful sales, because first impression matters, and your attitude during the approach. Often salesperson experience tension when contacting a prospect, like they get nervous and stuff, so they don't perform nicely. And successful salesperson learn to use creative imaginary to relax and concentrate. So why what's first impression, and why is it so crucial? So the first impression is projected by appearance and attitude. We will discuss about this later. So why are first impressions so important? Our judgments about someone occurs automatically. So we will process their information, everything they do, their appearance, their gesture, their speech, everything in our mind without our conscious. So research suggests that 90% of the decisions are not conscious, may not be aware of the process, but we are actually processing all the information that we saw on that person. So which is why first impression is very important. So the application to sales, customer automatically and quickly judge a salesperson. So everything you do must be flawless. So the result first seconds or minutes of the sales interaction matters, because that will decide whether the salesperson is trusted, can be trusted, can provide them with needed assistance or possess the expertise to settle or to solve their problems. So how to make a good impression? As we said earlier, so arrive early, proactively learn to pronounce prospect name correctly, because some of the prospect name is very hard to pronounce, which have a very tough pronunciations. Always get it right, because it will piss them off and you will not get the sales done. Next, you have to confirm that you have all the materials ready, so you will not miss out. So for non-verbal language, you have to be positive, enthusiastic, maintain eye contact, smile, and maintain positive posture. So how to make a good first impression? As we said earlier, the appearance and the attitude. So for number one, the dress. Always dress one step above corporate culture. So just dress professionally, then you'll be great. And always be neat in grooming and appearance. You have to tie your tie, shine your shoes, shave, or maybe even set or gel your hair. So for the materials and technologies, always leave all unnecessary materials outside. For example, your cell phone. So make sure to set your cell phone to airplane mode or vibrate or silent mode before you start the conversation. So ensure that all the needed materials are organized so that you can find them wherever you want. So it won't be a mess that you can't find anything when you want to present that to your prospects. So manners, always ask to place the materials on desk. It could be paperwork, it could be samples, it could be your laptop, it could be your tablets, everything. So remember, others will enter meetings or pass by. So why is it important? Because they might be their friends or they might be their partner in their business. So their impression on you matters too. So it will directly or indirectly affect your sales. So that's all from me. I'll pass it to my partner.
Hi everyone, so my name is Honeywood and my next number is 261456. So I'm going to present for the next section with 5 ways to remember someone's name. There are 5 ways to remember someone's names. Firstly, use the present names. It's good to make you Mr. Firestones. Spell it up in your mind. Relate the name to something you are familiar with. Next, use the name in the conversation. And last, repeat the name at the end of conversations when you're saying goodbye. So for the next slide is about approach categories. So there are 3 approach categories or technique, which is for the first one is opening with a statement, the second one is opening with a demonstration, and the third one is opening with a question or questions. The table below shows the approach techniques for each of the 4 sales presentation methods, which is memorize, formula, next satisfactions, and the last one is problem solving. The choice of the approach technique depends on chosen sales presentation method. Okay, so we need to base on the situation to determine the approach. So for the influence of our approach to use included product being sold, whether the call is a repeat call, customer needs, the amount of time, and the awareness of a problem. As we know that questions are feasible with any of presentation methods. Statement and demonstration usually reserved for memorize or formula sales presentation method. So there are 3 basic objectives. Firstly, to capture prospect's attention. Secondly, to stimulate prospect's interest. And the last one, to provide attention into sales presentation. Next is about rapport building. Small talk warms them out. The goals of small talk is to develop trust by creating a connection with your customer or buyer. Rapport consists of introductory elements of discussion such as greeting or introductions. Next, learning about each other, confirming how long client can meet. If you ongoing a series of meetings, rapport might focus upon on something buyer expressed at the previous meeting, such as personality or interest. So there are keys to remember about rapport. Firstly, demonstrate similarity, not to demonstrate the differences. Secondly, find some element that buyer has shared with you which you align in the conversation. And lastly, adapt your report to customer styles to capture the attention of the customer. Share about the potential report topics with you guys. So you may ask about their interests, about hobbies, sport, activity, etc. So you also may ask about their work history and about their perception about a business topic or a trend. To the report, the second part of the approach occur and plan formal selling technique uses a lead into upcoming discussion of the products. It consists of using statement, demonstration, or one or more questions, but all of this is based on the situation. The table below shows the three major categories of approach techniques: statement, demonstrations, and questions. The good rule of thumb: the use of the questions in your approach is preferable.
Welcome to my part. Stay fresh. I'm sure you all understand the previous presentation by my members, so let's continue. Oh, by the way, I'm Brian. Okay, there are 4 openings with statements: introductory, complimentary, referral, and premium. So now let's continue to the detail of this statement. So first, introductory approach. This is the most common and least powerful of approach. Does little to capture the attention of customer and interest. Open with salesperson's name and business. Is neat for a first met customer and usually combined with another approach.
So here we have some example for the introductory approach. Hello, Miss Crompton. My name is John Glanston, representing the Pierce Chemical Company. So these are the most common example for introductory approach who are using their name or their company name to the first met customer.
So next is complementary approach. We must communicate a positive way aspect to the buyer. Normally, the buyers are advertised or they already have a business result. Their quality of business and the way we communicate must be sincere.
So here we go for another example. Mr. Davison, I was just visiting with your boss who commented that you were doing a good job in keeping your company's printing costs down. I am interested in learning more about your business needs in the hopes of helping you reduce your costs further.
Referral approach. This approach is to use some referral, either person or something that might be well known to the customer. We can use another person's name if we could know the person which the customer respect or trusted will be more efficient to our approach.
So here is another example. Miss Rosenbach, my name is Carlos Ramirez. With the Restaurant Supply Corporation, when I talked to your brother last week, he wanted me to give you the opportunity to see restaurant supplies line of paper products for your restaurant. So from here we can see that Carlos is using Miss Rosenbach's brother's name to get an opportunity to let Rosenbach to see the restaurant supply lines of paper product for her restaurant. This is the way to help Miss Rosenbach to get attraction from Carlos.
So now we come to the last approach, which is premium approach. We can provide something free to customer. This is the most easy way to get attention of a customer. For example, we can give free sample or novelty item to a customer to try, or we can create a positive environment when during we have a meeting with our customer.
So here is another example for premium approach. Miss Rogers, please try complimentary set of our automotive tools at one of your stations. Once you use them, my hunch is that many of your technicians will be asking for them. When we are giving some samples for the customer to try, after they try, they will know the benefit that we tell to the customer is true and not just only talk on the paper. So this will be like customer can see the difference between our product and others company brands product, so they will make a choice on it.
Phew! So we finally settled the approach. So do you understand about it? Now we are going to talk about agenda statement. We use agenda statement to plan or brief framework for meeting goals or determine the discussion area before we meet our customer. But why must we plan before we meet our customer? This is because buyers have face time constraint. Salesperson must be aware and respectful of customer time and schedule.
So imagine now you are a customer and you have planned to meet with a salesperson who are trying to present his or her product to you. And now the salesperson does not be aware with the time that discussed with you. So now you have waited the salesperson for about 15 minutes or more and you are losing your patience. So you won't give any attention to the salesperson when he is arrived, or maybe you won't give him or her a chance to talk anymore. So as we are a salesperson, we have to be aware with the time that we have booked with our customer to ensure that the customer does not wait us too long, because buyer's time is very important.
So there are some key items to remember about the agendas. Use customer-focused language such as you, your, we rather than me, my, and I. Never assume we understand all of the goals of meeting. Always provide open-end questions at the end of agenda and ask whether any element we missed or any shall be included.
So although in this example, we also see that the example is using I or me, but this is a need in a normal conversation. So if can, we will try to avoid to use this term except for a needs only. So now we go to the objective of using question approach techniques. So our objective of using question approach technique is to uncover needs and problems. For example, we can fulfill the needs and solve the problem of our customer. Have customer to tell you about their needs, problem, intention to do something about their needs or problem. The way we're using the question approach technique is we use a multiple question approach, SPIN. The short form we say as SPIN. So what is SPIN? SPIN are situation, problem, implication, and need payoff question. So now we go deep to each of the element. First, situation question. Ask customer about a general situation as it relates to the product. Second, problem question. Ask about specific problems, dissatisfaction or difficult of the customer receive that relative to the situation question. Third, implication question. Ask about implication of customer's problem or how a problem affect various related operation in the aspect of home, life or business. The final one, need payoff question. Ask if the customer has important or implicit needs.
So next we will go for some SPIN element example. So for the first example, for asking for general situation, how large are your manufacturing plant facilities? Second, ask about specific problem relative to situation questions. Have your executive ever complained about having to do so much working in and around the plant?
So for the third one, ask how about affect various related operation aspect. It sounds as if your executive will have an interest in reducing their travel time and not having to exert so much energy in transit. How much time, energy, and company resource will you envision might be saved if they could get to the plant as quickly as they desire? And the last one, ask if customer has an important explicit needs. If I could show you how you can solve your executives' problems in getting to and from your plant, and at the same time save your company money, would you have an interest? For example, that for situation question, problem question, implication question, and needs payoff question. For the last sentence, we can see that the salesperson are trying to replace the buyer's need to avoid any excluded or miss any element during the discussion. So for the second method, integrate a need prioritization section before the needs or payoff section of SPIN. This goal is to allow buyer to prioritize needs. For example, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Will it be acceptable to say that your firm's challenge are that you have experienced a 10% decrease in sales over the past months. Similarly, you note that your competitors have continued to increase their promotion frequency over the past 12 months, and that's placing pressure on you as you have an annual objective of 6% growth in sales to meet. What other needs did I not capture? So that's all for my part. I will pass to my next member.
Then, I will continue to explain the following approaches that use in question technique. The first one, customer benefit approach. In this approach, the salesperson asks questions or asks some question implying product which will bring a benefit to the prospect. We can look at an example first. The salesperson from ABC Shipping and Storage Company asks the salesperson whether he is interested in the new storage or shipping container that will reduce the transfer cost by 10 to 20% or not. By using this approach, the salesperson is focused on the benefit from the product and which may enhance the prospect attentions. And this is a useful method when prospecting for customer by using the phone in a limited time. And the next one is curiosity approach. In this approach, the salesperson asks questions or doing something to make the prospect curious about the product or service. This may the salesperson may integrate a trend and unique research findings or other insights. Or the salesperson can share her expertise with the buyer and create interest. So we can look at an example how the salespeople come up with a curiosity statement to create interest of the to the customer. The salesperson said that, "Did you know why college professors such as yourself has made this the best-selling book about how to sell on the market?" So this is a quite good question to create a curiosity from the customer. And the next one is opinion approach. By using this approach, the people when asking an opinion by others, people usually feel happy or frustrated when there has been asked the opinion on a subject, because they feel there has been recognized or they have recognitions from others because have the more knowledge of this subject. By using this technique, the salesperson should be sincere and gradually demonstrate the value buyer opinion and review vigorously and explore opportunity for the product. Okay, so from the example, we can see that the salesman said that he is new at this business, so he wondered if the customer could help him. From the question, the salesperson gives the statement to let the customer feel that he get the more knowledge if compared to the salesperson, and he will be happy because he can give the opinion to others. And then the salesperson throw the question out, which is the company said that the model 1000 copier printer and scanner is the best on the market for the money. What do the customer think? For here we can see that the clever salesperson demonstrate the value buyer opinion quietly and review previously and explore opportunity for the product. And I think it's the last one, shock approach. In this approach, the salesperson uses a question designed to the prospect think seriously about a subject related to salesperson product. From the example, we can see that the salesperson asked that, did you ask the customer that, did the customer know that the home burglary according to the FBI has increased this year by 15% over the last year? By using this question, the salesperson can gradually ask related to the product that he wants to offer to the prospect or customer, which is the alarm system. Not only that, the salesperson can also use a trend, a statistic, a variable research that prospect may not know to make a shock approach. What is the value that can get by the shock approach? The customer can generate the interest and position salesperson as providing the credible knowledge to the prospect and gradually and indirectly to or directly to the product that you want to offer to the customer. And why we should use the question technique, and why the questioning is an excellent technique to use. The first one, by using the questioning, the salesperson can obtain the information from the prospect. It can develop two-way communication with the customer and the salesperson and increase the prospect participations. And what the salesperson need to know before using the question. By using this technique, the salesperson may ask the question wisely. He should prepare the question which is related to the product or which is useful in the presentations, and the salesperson need to practice the sequence and the variety of the questions which allow the salesperson to adapt with the customer. And there are 4 basic categories of questions, which is non-directive, directive, refreshing, and redirect. And the first category of the question, non-directive, or also known as open-ended question. This question is normally opens up to two-way communication and always begin with who, what, where, when, how, and why. This is the W, the 5W and 1H that we always heard about. And this questions prompts customer to continue talking. So we can look at the example below. The customer and the salesperson use who, what, which begin with who, what to give the question that can make the customer continue to talking and continue to give the feedback to the salesperson. And the next one is direct questions. This question is cross-ended question which can be answered with very few words, by yes, no, or a few words. It asks for a limited short answer from the prospect. This question is useful in moving towards a specific topic, but does not really tell many information and there's little feedback information. Let us see the second examples. The second given examples. Reducing manufacturing cost is important, isn't it? So, if the salesperson asks a question like that, the customer can only answer like yes, no, I agree, something like that, a few words only. So, to get more interaction with the customer, what can the salesperson do is transforming the cross-ended question into open-ended questions. And based on the slide, we can see that this is a new word, which is probing. What is probing questions? Based on my understanding, the probing question is the open-ended question that man can ask after the open-ended question previously. How do we can transform the cross-ended question into the open-ended question? Let me see the first example. The first question is, don't you agree? In this question, the customer can simply answer, yes, I agree, no, I didn't. But to get more interaction with the customer, we can change the question, begin with what are your thoughts about, and can you explain to me more about. It can enhance or make the customer say more or give more feedback about the product. And the third one, refreshing questions. At the time, the prospect meaning is not clearly stated. When the salesperson is not clearly about the prospect meaning, the salesperson can use this refreshing question. By using this question, the salesperson can attempt to clarify the meaning and attempt to further determine the prospect needs. How the salesperson do in the presentation, we can see to the example. The second example. Earlier in the conversations, the customer shared that delivery time are of the utmost important. The first sentence is said by the salesperson to clarify the meaning that the prospect not clearly stated before. And the second one, can you tell me more about your expectation in this area? And this sentence is the salesperson used to attempt to further determine prospect's needs. And the last one, redirect questions. Normally, this is the question used by the prospect and used by the salesperson to redirect prospect to selling point that both parties agree on. And this technique of question is used when the conversations with the customer is going to a negative position and the salesperson want to move the conversation from a negative position to a positive position or neutral one. It can be used to re-stabilize the communication between two people, and finds the area of agreement between buyer and seller even if prospect is opposed to the purchasing product. We can look at the first example given. You will agree that manufacturers must use the most cost-efficient equipment to stay competitive these days, wouldn't you? So this question is essentially to pull the conversations to a positive or neutral one from a negative position and find the areas of agreement between the buyer and the seller, and even if the prospect is opposed to purchasing the product. And how? if the prospect is not listening or is multitasking. In short, what can the salesperson or we can do is make the interaction or try to make the two-way communication with the prospect. What can we do is invite the prospect to participate in the talk by using either the question or the demonstration approach. What is demonstration approach? My friend will further explain about it in the further slide. And the second one the salesperson can do is handle the person something or showing something or asking a question which the salesperson can briefly recapture the attention from the customer.
Okay, just now Frankie talked about direct questions. So I am Dhanlashmi Chandrasekharan. My metric card number is 259409. I'm going to talk about demonstration openings. Demonstration openings include two. One is product approach and showmanship approach. It means the product approach is known as income approach, and then showmanship approach is involved doing something unusual that to catch the prospect attention and interest. This slide shows demonstration openings. Continue. Invites prospect into participating in the sales conversation, and then product approach frequently used alone or in a combination with statement and questions. There got two alternatives. Salesperson provide product to buyer and wait for a reaction, and then lead the buyer through a demonstration. It means the product approach is a silently hand the prospect his product and wait for the prospect to start the conversation. Okay, this slide shows technology in the demonstration, which about the product approach. It's a quickly capture prospect attention and interest. Technology incorporated into demonstration approach, sounds, visuals, and touch cause prospect mind to focus on salesperson words. It's a keep customer focus and ensure demonstration focuses on a key benefit that is important to a buyer. That is show the example of product approach. It means the salesperson wait for the buyer to comment, and then they will show the virtual reality of the product to display it, because they show the new packaging or brand and logo to get the feedback of the customer to the salesperson. Okay, this is about the showmanship approach. It's about doing something unusual to catch prospect attention and interest. And then be very careful so that approach does not backfire. Should focus on a customer-centered benefit. It means the showmanship approach involves doing something to catch the prospect attention, interest. This should be done carefully because it can be backfire, or we can avoid that doesn't happen the backfire from the customer. Example for the showmanship approach, you can tell a joke or something unusual to catch the customer's attention. I show the example that you all can see the showmanship approach. Miss Rosenberg, our paper plates are the strongest on the market, making them drip-free, a quality your customer will appreciate. The salesperson places a paper plate on her lap and pour cooking grease or motor oil onto it while speaking to the prospect. There I show the salesperson demo the product, like he placed a paper plate on her lap and pours cooking grease. It means he showed that the product is can pour the cooking grease. That means the product is quality in high level. And then it content show it of the product as well. This slide shows the rephrasing question. The rephrasing question means if you are not clear with the conversation, you can ask the question in the manner is useful if you are unclear and need to clarify the meaning of something said. Are you saying that price is the most important thing you are interested in? And then they'll show the example, then what you are saying this. If I can improve the delivery time, you would be interested in buying. It's mean the salesperson will give like saying like this to the customer buy the product. They are which mean doing something to the customer buy the product. There are 3 rules for the using question. When you ask a question, there are 3 rules in this, because you use only question that you can anticipate the answer to, or that will not lead you into a situation from which you cannot escape. Before you ask a question, you have to know the answer would be like that in a manner situation or which you cannot escape. And then the second one is a pause or wait after submitting a question. When you ask a question, you have to in a calm way pause and wait for the answer when submitting a question. And then listen is a very important communication between the salesperson and the customer. Now about the be flexible in your approach. Willing to do and ready to change your plan approach. Always you have to be willing and ready to change your plan approach. That is why you need several methods to open your sales presentation. Whenever you do the sales presentation, you have a plan approach all time before you do the sales presentation. Transitions. It's mean maintain conversational flow. Ever experience a conversation in which an awkward silence occurs? Before this, you got face awkward silence occur when you did a conversation. Awkward pauses occur between different elements of sales process. Conversational flow is very important between the salesperson and then customer. It would be good to the customer to buy a product, or the customer decline the product whenever the salesperson doing a conversation with the customer. It's the transitions help relate or link two ideas or section of conversation. Link the report section with the agenda section, or link the agenda section to need discovery section. It would be like a salesperson will tell more about the product, and then demo the product by the showmanship approach. Okay, this one is a continue about the maintain conversational flow. You can read from this slide. And then this is a show about the link the report section with the agenda section. And then it's like you can see there is a mention about the transition and then agenda with once you read it. And then this is from me, and thank you.